Thank you so much, Joe and Doug, for being here. I am excited, really excited to be here talking to you. I love when I get to speak to two people together, especially when they're partners in crime and some of the greatest aspects of life. You want to start by telling us maybe how you guys met?
Ooh, great question. We met around 10 years ago when she used to own a martial arts studio up here in Reno, Nevada, United States, and took my children there. And that's how we met and developed a great friendship for all these years. And then life changes happen. And about a year ago, having coffee, one of the regular times we have coffee every few months, and it was like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So it was nice coming together with somebody that had a decade of friendship with first.
Yeah.
Wow. And how do you see that affecting your relationship?
Well, it's just nice to be able to see people through a span of success and tragedy. And there's something about that, being able to know a lot of different versions of the person that you're with. I mean, just that consistent friendship and support too. It does definitely change it. I've never been in a relationship with somebody that started with a foundation of friendship, but it really is special. It makes it a lot more comfortable, a lot more easy, and that trust is already established.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like you have a basis of friendship, right? Like there's that as your foundation and everything else is built on top of it. But
Yeah.
I'm curious, what made you decide to start Recovery Remix?
Ooh, I love this question. It came from the two of us in living a life in recovery from alcohol and for me, opiates. And Joe has 11 years sober from alcohol and myself 9. So together, 20 years sober. Also, we've got various degrees and master's degrees in education and marriage family therapy, different realms of psychology. She's taught in the university system for over a decade. I taught in the school system for a hot minute, worked with behavior disorder teens for years and years and years. And we've always enjoyed the element of service and giving back and sharing what we've learned and gained. And so it just made perfect sense coming together, joining forces, and creating just a platform to do just that, to serve and give back what we've learned along the way and tie in knowledge gained and education. And thus, Recovery Remix was born.
Yeah, just to piggyback off of that too, I think when I look at the people that I know that are successful entrepreneurs, they really identify a problem, something missing in the market, a service that needs to be created. And one of the things that we hear all the time is AA was good, but it serves people for a while, or they really enjoy certain aspects, but other parts don't resonate. And so we wanted to create something that could really be either an add-on or replace that. And it's done our way. It's online, so it's the flexibility, the anonymity piece is still there. But we kept hearing that, and so we wanted to create something that was an alternative.
So what do you do special? Like what do you do different compared to any other sort of recovery programs?
What we do, the online platform, we've got subscription service, we've got one-on-one coaching to group learning to some workshops we're going to offer every maybe quarter of the year. And what do we do different? Like Joe mentioned, we pulled the best of AA. I'm a huge fan of AA, especially the 12 steps. And those specifically is what I really appreciate. So we pull from the power of the 12 steps. We pull from our deep yoga practices. We pull from our experience working, one-on-one counseling in the classrooms, etc. And provide our spin, just that fresh spin on what recovery and thriving in recovery can really look like. Not just white knuckling from a disease, but thriving in this new life free of the substances that used to really control and overtake our lives.
So
Yeah,
essentially,
and
it's like,
I
no, no, go for it.
well, it's just too, there are some pieces of AA that we're just more flexible with as well. You know, there's um I hate to use the word dogma, but there is, you know, there can be a lot of beliefs and structures and like very like a rigidness to AA that we just don't carry within ourselves. So when we deliver those messages or when we, you know, teach that philosophy or go through those steps, we just do it more fluidly with a lot more room for the humanness that I think comes with addiction. You know, it's the healing isn't linear. The, you know, it's not like a one size fits all. And the one thing with the steps for anybody that's done that, it talks a lot about the behavior, but it doesn't talk a lot about the pain. So the steps will take people through and it will say, you know, why do you act this way, right? Or don't act that way. But we don't look at really why that behavior exists. You know, what was the trauma? What was the pain that created this behavior? And so we take it a lot deeper into the more spiritual, emotional wound of addiction.
Wow. So first in the beginning when you were talking dog, I was thinking it was like you took all the best of the best, but then I see you've like built on that, and not only have you taken the best of the best, but you've also like deepened the best of the best. Like really
Right.
taking everything and saying like what's missing here, what was the best thing that we know from any sort of program, and then well mainly AA, but obviously a bunch of other things also, and then like making it even better. I love that. Now I know a lot of what you're doing, or most of what you're doing, is like a service and really like there to help others and support others. But I also know that there's a business side to it. I'm curious, what you would be comfortable with sharing from a business side to it, as in like, how do you manage being able to like help other people while at the same time being able to make money from it without like taking advantage of people?
Yeah, this is a great question. And it is something that I particularly have really struggled with. It was interesting because before I worked at a university, and so the university paid me to do, you know, my work with students. Now working one-on-one with clients, it challenges. And I have had so many people help me in my recovery, and we know we're supposed to give back, that there is that feeling of like, ugh, every time I go to charge, and I still have it and I have to work through it. And I just remember my girlfriend saying once, she's like, dude, the guy down there at 7-Eleven selling cigarettes, getting paid for it, doesn't feel bad. Like what you're doing is helping. And it is a massive energy exchange. And quite honestly, like creating an online business is a nightmare. I mean, we've had to hire people to design the website, hire people to do the back end stuff that, you know, I mean, I'm like, what the hell is a funnel and a plugin, and like getting all this new software so we can try to learn. I mean, we've pumped thousands of dollars into getting this site up and running, and the membership portal will open probably in a week or two. The site is up. But you know, that is how I justify it. It's like, no, we are putting a massive amount of heart and money and resources and time and energy into this. And we're going to make it wildly affordable. That is something we wanted to do. Obviously, my one-on-one coaching is expensive, but we have this membership that's $22 a month. I mean, that's like a
Wow.
Netflix
Yeah.
subscription, and we're going to fill it with content because our purpose, like, yes, we want to be compensated for it, but it's like we want to just flood with value, you know, anything that we think might help people as they're trying to navigate either cutting back use, stopping, long-term recovery, like wherever they're at, we want to meet them there and give them, you know, a lot of what we have learned. So yeah, but it's something I navigate. It's a great question. I like that you asked it.
What, from your perspective, Doug, especially coming from like a bit more business side, how do you view it?
Like Joe mentioned, you know, everything is an energetic exchange, right? And if we look at it that way, business is no different. And sometimes part of that transaction, not sometimes, every time, is that energetic currency. And in that business form is money. And that's okay. And we can even remove that stigma of getting paid to serve. Like, of course, because trained ourselves. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars literally on our educations to provide this, you know, and hundreds of thousands spent in starting other businesses and still running those businesses. So I mean, this is just part of it. And for what we're putting into and all those expenses Joe's already mentioned, and then using, you know, decades, decades for each of us of experience of coaching and teaching people. This is just an exciting new platform. We can reach more people, which I'm really excited about because our town, our city is a small city in comparison. And so now we can reach people on a national and a global level, which is exciting to us.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of juicy
So
goods to
excited for
share
you.
with you.
So
Thanks.
excited for you. I see it like really helping so many people. I love also how like the flexibility in it and how it can work really well with other things. So let's say someone goes to AA or has like a therapist, but they like need additional things like when the therapist isn't there, right? And but they have like these on-demand courses and these people who are there to support them throughout the way. I see that being really, really helpful to so many people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know, Doug, that I don't that you've had a jewelry business. Do you still have it, or was that a thing of the past?
I still do. It's called D Street Designs, and you can check
Ooh,
it out on
okay.
Instagram. Mhm.
Okay. How long ago have you started it?
I launched D Street Designs here in Reno 13 years ago in 2010. And I
And
focus on, oh, go ahead.
no, any focused on?
Custom commission jewelry. I mean, I can make anything. I can store, you know, like any jewelry store. You know, pretty much all of us have the same connections and wholesale providers to stock all the same jewelry as everyone else. I did not want my store, this studio, to be that. I wanted to really focus on the custom commission pieces, and fortunately, it's worked, and that's what I've been doing all these years. And probably 95% of my workloads custom commission. So a lot of engagement rings, a lot of wedding sets, a lot of anything people want, like on a higher end for sure.
Yeah. What do you think is the thing that has helped you the most grow the business?
Word of mouth has been absolutely wonderful. I haven't ever paid for marketing or advertising.
Wow.
And right, and absolutely social media. And that was my jam. And because of social media, Instagram and Facebook in particular, I never had to pay, you know, and of course word of mouth, but again, our town's small. And that worked wonders for me. So like, for example, if I had an extra block of time and I made 6 pieces of a certain necklace, you know, like this. And then I put them up on thank you on social media. Hey, limited edition, 6 of these golden turquoise necklaces available now. And by the end of that night, by the end of the next day, if I had 6 for sale, 5 of them would be gone.
Wow.
Every single time I'd sell all but one. It was like almost a joke. And
Why do you think that was?
I don't know. Why don't I buy the last one?
It's
So
like if you would
that's
make seven, you would sell six, right? And if you would make five, you'd sell four.
yeah, totally. Oh, absolutely. It's so funny. I have single pieces of so much around here. You and file back and whatever. And that worked wonderful for me. Up until my Instagram account got hacked in May of 2021. And then so I got suspended by Facebook while they looked into it, and they told me all these means to prove that I'm the owner of the account. I something about a $99 iPhone, and they sent videos to everyone. You know, hacked my account and said I was selling those. So I proved I own the business, and then but it still didn't work. And radio silence on the Facebook end of things, and I never got that account back. And after 2 months of it suspended, they said they're deleting it, deleting all the info, all the photos, all the contacts, everything, deleted the name for 6 months. And I wasn't able to launch D Street Designs again until January 1 of 2022. And at first I was just mad and angry and didn't think social media even helped me that much. Oh, hell no. Yes, it does. Because I post on Instagram business, link that to my Facebook personal page, and that was the magic. You
So
know,
what did you do during those 6 months?
oh, kept working and finishing, I had plenty of work going on already. And it took me a few months to realize, like, whoa, the incoming work was really on the decline. And then, many months later, all of a sudden people are asking me around town, hey, are you still open? Or I'd get emails, hey, are you still open? I haven't seen anything. I'm like, oh my God, this really is affecting me. And by that January, 6, 7 months later, by January 2022, February, things were crashing hard for me, honestly. Like, new business was not coming in. And it took me a very long time to even begin turning that around. And I was really surprised, like how efficient and helpful social media was. So I built it back up. I don't have, I have maybe 10% of the following I had before. So it doesn't work the same. It's not as effective when I have like a flash sale, but that's okay. I'm still getting the word out there, and Facebook has grown again. And so,
Oh gosh.
yeah,
What was the
really
like on
is.
an emotional side? Like what were you feeling during those months and how were you dealing with it?
Ooh, great question. I was really frustrated at first and then just flipped it. Like, I don't need it. I don't care. It's social media. It takes too much of my time. It's a distraction. And then it's like, oh no, this is our life and times. This is how we communicate. This is how we stay connected with people, Instagram and Facebook in particular. And that's how I built my business. And so I was worried. I was frustrated. I was kind of angry. And it was also my platform of where I had my entire portfolio of all the jewelry I'd made. Like, I wasn't up, I didn't even have a website all those years. I didn't build my little measly website I have now until a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And so it was a big wake up call. Like, I need to back things up. I need to, and coming into our new business, we need to have the email list for newsletters, because that can't be stolen as long as internet and the satellites are still in the sky, right? But it made me realize a backup means for my portfolios and ways to communicate in case this happens again. And it could. And it's something we're hyper aware of now.
I'm
Fortunately, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm curious, Joe, like how this situation affected you. I think you came in a little bit later on in it, but
Yeah, I did. But I've definitely, having been such a close friend and followed his account for so long. I mean, what's beautiful about Doug is he's an artist, not just in jewelry, but also in words. So, like, that account, um, it was captivating for a lot of different reasons. And so I followed it so closely. And I remember when it went away, I could feel like how awful that would be. And I have several very dear friends that have built online businesses all through Instagram that lost everything. And so it's a big deal for somebody to try to come back. And then it's also, I think it's really frustrating having watched as it's slowly starting to grow again. It's just a different landscape right now. Like, we have a really good friend who's pretty famous in the jewelry world, and he's like, yeah, if you're not spending 10,000 a month on Instagram on ads, you're just not in the algorithm. Like, I mean, so we have a lot of friends that are talking about just the plummet. I've seen it in my own accounts. It's a different world now, that social media landscape. It is really important and I love it. But it's hard to start over. And it's also hard to start something new. Like, we just launched Recovery Remix Instagram page. And I'm like, ooh, we're up to 300 people, So it's important not to get attached to those numbers. And I'm like, the quality of people that are following that account, like, it's real people. And I love that. And I know a lot of people that have a very small following and they're crushing it, so that can also, it doesn't translate. We see these accounts with 40, 50,000 followers and we go, oh my God, they must be so successful. And it's like, maybe. So I think it's important to remember that we can be successful with a smaller following as well. And that's what I just keep trying to remind myself.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So with Recovery Remix, what experience are you taking and what lessons are you learning from marketing in the past to help you market it, Recovery Remix?
It's a good question. One of the biggest things that I'm learning is a lot of times we'll go into something thinking, "Ooh, this is gonna be it, right? This is gonna be a thing that's gonna like blow it up," and spend a lot of money to do something, and then it doesn't turn out to be the thing at all. Like we,
Business, right?
I yeah, I mean, but you just go, "Oh my God, this is gonna hit," and it's just interesting. So I think the one lesson I've learned is like just be mindful of things that are going to cost a lot of money. Like at first my business coach was like, "Don't put so much into the website. Have one sales landing page and a funnel. Like you don't need to be dumping so much money into the website right now." But I couldn't hear her. And so I found out the hard way. No, she was right. Just do a landing page, keep it simple. She could have written the copy. I could have created it with a theme plate, like just starting simple and letting it grow more organically, I think is what I would have done instead of getting the website, like printing all this stuff and materials and blah, 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 and then trying to fill it, right? Like just letting it grow, back ending it, doing it more organically, like simple, not putting so much money into it right away. But yeah, so definitely some growing pains, learning lessons there, but simplify in the beginning, I think is the one lesson I learned.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I
And
love that. Like,
repeat.
what were you gonna say?
I was just saying, and repeat that lesson and repeat. Simple, simple. Less is more sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We get like all fancy with all like different technologies and all different like bells and whistles. And sometimes those literally, like you said, those are the things that drive away customers instead of driving them to us. This was awesome. Thank you so much, Joe and Doug. Before we get to our final question, where can we connect with you, learn more about you both for Cover Remix and if we want some custom jewelry?
Boom. Thank you for asking. For Recovery Remix, it's just that, recoveryremix.com. And you can also find us on Instagram under Recovery Remix is our handle there. And for the jewelry, it's D Street Designs, letter D, street spelled out, designs.com. Or again, on Instagram is really the best where you can catch the most of us talking live, how to thrive in life. And then, yeah, sprinkle in a little custom jewelry.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, final question before I let you go. And I want an answer for each one of you. It's a question that I ask every guest, okay? What is something controversial that you believe in?
Wow, great question. We still on air?
We are.
Something controversial I believe in.
Okay, I got one. I really believe in decriminalizing drugs. I just, having worked in the field for as long as I have, punishment never works. That's never the answer. And it's really frustrating to see how many people are in jail because the substance they use is illegal. Like we have laws to prevent and to punish criminal behavior. So if I'm a heroin addict and I steal your car to go get drugs, then the crime is grand theft auto and I'm going to go to jail for that. If I'm on drugs and I attack you, that's assault. I'm going to go to jail for that. But the fact of the matter is we have so many people in jail just because the substance that they use is illegal and it puts them into the system. It's very difficult to get out. And I think it's interesting. We're going to see Oregon has now, of course, decriminalized substances. And the way that they're doing it is if I'm caught with something now, granted, if I'm selling or trafficking, that's different. But if I just have drugs on me for personal use, it doesn't matter what it is. I go and I get an evaluation to see if I need help. And like that's what they're doing instead of arresting people and locking people up. And I firmly believe in that. And I am for the decrim movement. So Yeah.
Mm.
It's like
Oh,
it's actually solving the problem instead of just putting on a band-aid, right? Like there's a reason why someone is using the drugs, and by help being able to help them solve that problem, then they don't no longer have that problem.
And it's so
right,
hard for people to
right.
come out with felonies and integrate back into society and, get the help that they need. Yeah, it's really important that we treat people with humanity and give them help. And again, when people are on drugs and commit crimes, we have laws for the crimes, but the drugs shouldn't be the crime, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ooh, great one. Great one. Love that. And back that up. Man, lots of topics I can talk about.
It's
Controversial.
very controversial,
I'm going to
human
keep
right.
it on topic a little bit with both of you and bring one up regarding AA. I talked about positives, right? And we're pulling the best of AA to launch Recovery Remix, 12 steps in particular. Um, the stigma in AA, well, no, AA focuses on the Band-Aid. You mentioned Band-Aid. I like that. AA focuses on the Band-Aid. Just don't drink. And yes, the next 11 steps after step one, we admit we've got a problem. The next 11 steps are tools to overcome that. Like Joe mentioned, it doesn't focus on the underlying, the root cause, that pain. Maybe it's abandonment issues from my childhood. And when I drink, I don't feel them as much, right? AA stays surface and says that it's a disease, an incurable disease. And that's what I disagree with 1000% with every core, every fiber of my being. I disagree with that. Because we have a flu, we have this or that, we have cancer, we can overcome that and heal, recover, be cured of it. Same with alcoholism, if that's what we're going to call it. And most people, even within the walls of AA, aren't even uh, clinically, what's the word I'm looking for?
Diagnosed.
Diagnosed. Thank you, Mert. Clinically diagnosed alcoholics. Anyway, that being said, yes, it's something we can overcome. Doesn't mean, so for me, when I show up in a meeting, I say, hi, I'm Dougie Moore, recovered alcoholic. And people lose their
Like
mind all hour long. And then I
I
hear
like
about it
that.
afterwards and they give me so much about it. But it's the truth, if it's, I have no desire to drink, you put me in the middle of the bar, it doesn't matter. Hand me a counter full of drinks, doesn't matter. No desire to drink. It's been over 9 years. I won't go that route again because I know I can't. If I have that drink, then I start back over and probably in a worse spot with the alcoholism and running and gunning and going deeper and worse than I probably ever had been. I don't want to find out. But through realizing, okay, the surface, the alcohol is a band-aid to some deeper issues, and taking the time, the months, the therapy, the years to really address those issues. And when they come up again, to recognize and work through in a better way, then yeah, that's recovery. And therefore I show up at those meetings. I'm a recovered alcoholic. You want to learn about it, come talk to me. And now I really don't get invited back to the meetings to talk about it because they don't like this point of view. And it's just more fuel for Recovery Remix.
Right?
And as many people are in AA, there's tenfold outside of AA looking for support. And that's why we're here.
Would you believe me if I would told you that I've had many discussions on exactly this topic with addicts and like friends of people who struggle with things like this? Because first of all, like you said, it doesn't solve the root problem. I'm like super passionate just of the work that I do that gets like to the core, very different than you in the brain, but it gets to the root core. But also the fact that you have to like stand up and label yourself an addict means that you are going, your body, your brain is going to find ways for you to be that way. And as soon as you change that label to
Yeah.
recovered addict, and all of a sudden your label, your identity is different, and your body and your brain finds different ways to behave. So I really appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you. Likewise. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Joe and Doug, for being here today. I really appreciate you taking the time. I really enjoyed this conversation, and we'll speak to you next time. Bye for now.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.